Hello, welcome to Soulprint. Thank you very, very much for being here. It's 1 week. It's 1 week till the election. And hopefully at that point, at least some of the stress and anxiety and worry is going to start to dissipate. I, I just have a couple things. For those of you who have been with me for longer than 4 years, and if you have, like, God bless you, thank you. Um, Several weeks, I think it was, before Biden announced his vice president, I came on and I said, it's going to be Biden. He's going to pick Harris. Harris. And it's very likely he'll have one term, and then she will become the first Black president of the United States. Okay. Just before the election, when anxiety was really running high, I came on and I said, okay, so I just got like a flash, a little vision. And what I saw was Joe Biden coming down the steps of Air Force One, doing the salute thing. And I said he looked spry, he looked healthy, he was in good shape. So both of those have come to pass. So I'm going to start today with the kind of vision I just got like half an hour ago. So I was thinking about, I need to do this video today, and I want to make sure that it has, it's not that it calms as opposed to, aggravates. And literally I saw Kamala Harris, hand up, book on the aisle, Doug standing right beside her being sworn in as president. So take that to your heart, hold it tight, and let's see if I can go for three. Now, for anybody who might have missed it, on this channel, and in fact, on the Soulprint Insights channel too, I released a video called Circle of Light. It is an energy and protection video for the elections, for Harris and Walz, etc. If you haven't had time to take a peek at it, it's about 20 minutes long. It's a guided meditation. I encourage you to do that because you'll come out of it feeling much better. All right. So you can see I have one of my wands in my hand. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to channel this. Not a deep trance, just a basic channeling. So, Spirit, what can you tell us 1 week out regarding the results of the United States 2024 election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? There should be a great deal of comfort given to the fact that the early voting has been breaking records all over the place. Incredibly high voter, early voting. The day of the election, there's actually still going to be some significant voting going on. Some people, I guess, don't have any choice, but some people just feel that that's the appropriate time to vote. And so it's not going to be dead at the polls that day either. Now, you have, just statistically, you have more women than men who are out there voting. And by and large, you have more women than men out there advocating for the Democrats. It has been said over and over and over again that it is not wise to doubt what divine feminine energy can accomplish, particularly if it's a wee bit agitated. So where are we? We're a week out. Donald Trump had a rally on Sunday in New York that was frankly disgusting and appalling. There wasn't apparently one marginalized minority that he didn't insult. What's worse is that he had this comedian on who was just racist as racist could be. He did not, by the way, get a good response from the crowd. But what's most concerning, or perhaps just sad, is the fact that Barron, was the one that recommended this comedian to his dad. I'm not sure why, but he did. That's what I've heard. This rally, make no mistakes about it, was a rally for Nazism. It is a rally to rile people up. It's not going to have, and did not have, the intended effect. You know, people can have racial biases. In fact, from where we observe, I think most people have racial biases to some degree or another, frankly, whether they're consciously aware of it or not. But when somebody just flat attacks immigrants across the board, it leaves a real bad taste in people's mouths. And so, while Trump thought he was, rallying the crowd, and, he was getting all of his "don't steal the," or, the election was stolen, all those people behind him yelling and screaming, it energetically, it was just flat. Okay. It didn't have the desired effect. And so for those of you who are particularly concerned about the energy that came out of that rally, we encourage you to just simply take a deep, deep breath. In fact, take a couple of them. And recognize that desperate people do desperate things. But it's a funny thing about human nature. The more terrified somebody becomes, people who are not at that level of terrified, which frankly is most people, particularly given this election situation, are turned off by it. They resist it. They back up from it. So while he thinks that he is gathering close, what he's actually doing is creating, like, people are rejecting. They're rejecting him. They're rejecting what he's saying. So again, this is somebody who simply doesn't understand human nature. And that's already obvious and clear, and it has been for a really long time. So there's no point going on and on about it. We are being asked to sort of give you our energy projections. As the energy sit right now, Kamala Harris is going to win the popular vote. Kamala Harris is going to win the presidency by 4 to 5 points. The House is going to hold an increase. More significant people, and the Senate will become Democratic, and they will have a majority. Not a massive one, but it will not be razor thin either. That is energetically what we are seeing and witnessing. Voter turnout, when it's all said and done, is going to be simply beyond expectations. And you should take that to heart because it's an indicator that even people who have been sleeping for the last few years, even people who have been disassociated from politics for the last few years, even people who previously voted for Trump, that's not the energy right now. The energy is people are going to the polls. They're going to the polls because they're still really disgusted with January 6th and what Trump did. They are appalled by the abortion situation. And we can tell you that once President Harris is in office, it will not be enough that she signs in a law protecting abortion border to border to border. She is going to make corrections on the Supreme Court so that this kind of a completely unbalanced situation is not allowed to happen for the foreseeable future. There may be people out there who, for reasons of fear or the neighborhood they're in, have Trump signs on their lawn, but will not vote that way. There are people who will tell polls that they're voting Republican when they're not. And though this is sad, it is an indicator of the amount of toxic energy that surrounds this entire election. And it's not just for the president, it's for everybody. It's everything from, the country's president to a mayor of a small town. There's just so much toxic energy. And it is creating a situation where people who had been firmly entrenched in one camp or another was shifting, particularly from Republican, Independent, Democrat. If you are noticing, based on information from a few days ago, the early polling is indicating that Republicans are voting in slightly higher numbers than are Democrats. Do not allow this to concern yourself and ask yourself, what happens if 10% of those people registered as Republicans don't vote that way? What does that do to the overall numbers? What does that do to the results of the election? So it's really important that there is a calmness and a clarity in this coming week, and frankly, the days after. We're going to say from now until 10 days. 10 days from now. Because energetically, the shift has already been made. What you are waiting to see is the result of that shift. We're going to just take a moment to talk about one of the indicators of the momentum and the power of that shift, which, while it has been looked at, perhaps over the days and the anxiety has gotten lost somewhere in the shuffle. Do not forget this, there was a significant leap in time in July. Significant. It moved the energy forward several months. So from an energetic perspective, what happened was that all of the enthusiasm and the excitement and the relief and the gratitude, all of it connected to a Harris win. That energy was what surrounded people as they were experiencing this leap in time. So not only was it a leap in time in terms of, yeah, people felt it and they were like, having a hard time kind of finding their grounding again. But what it did was it almost dragged energy from what you would deem the future to present. So that was the energy and that was the momentum that surrounded and followed the Harris-Walz campaign through the rest of this election cycle. That is the power of energy. That is the power of positive energy. We strongly encourage you to make sure, first of all, make sure you voted, but that kind of goes without saying. But hold the excitement and the positive intentions for the next several days. That energy you cannot minimize the importance or the power of that kind of positive energy. And the final thing that we would like to say is that while there has been across the world this uptick in the energy of dictators and every other name you want to give them, this energy is not going to hold. If you think about the energy around the US election and you extrapolate it and take it out to the rest of the world, what you're seeing is, there was this really big push and there was a lot of real energy about, taking over and putting the whole government under one person's rule and on and on. But what happened in the United States was that people basically said, not on my watch, and they have pushed back. The energy that is created and built as a result of the results of the US election is going to be energy that is then transmuted across the world to people in other countries who are under the rule of a dictator. This is not going to happen overnight, nor is change going to happen overnight. But the footprint, the blueprint, indeed, shall we say, the soulprint, has already started. That energy has already started. So 50 years from now, 100 years from now, people living under the rule of one all-powerful person will simply have diminished or evaporated because more and more people recognize that it is the power of many that creates the direction of one. Think about that statement. Think about it. The power of many, as in group meditations, as in powerful thoughts, as in positive energy, then controls the direction of one thing. The one thing that they're all focused on. Continue to do your really hard, amazing, powerful work. For those of you who are volunteering, Your dedication, your heart is not going unnoticed. Breathe. Simply breathe. It may not be a week from now. It may be Wednesday. It may be Thursday. A week from now. But you will get your answers. And based on the energy that we are currently watching unfold, it would not be surprising at all if very, very clear indicators were established on Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning, it being confirmed. And for those of you who are worried or upset or anxious about a civil war, who are anxious about another January 6th, anxious about Donald Trump and his nonsense, don't feed it. Let it go. Just let it go. Yeah. The rhetoric, the hate, the cruelty, they're being noticed, and not in a good way. And we want to leave you with this one final thought. Astrologically, as many of you have been told, there is a repeat in terms of American history, right? Events that happened 200 and whatever years ago, the energies are consistent. They're repeating. But this is what you need to remember. The mindset, the understanding, the evolution of the souls of those people was in a much different place than now. Racism was accepted back then. Misogyny was accepted back then. That is no longer the case. And so the momentum and the energy and the hate and all of that is not being or is not able to outweigh the more powerful and positive energy of the enlightened, of the loving, and of the inclusive, which are all labels that you proudly wear and should. This is our message. We hope you find comfort. We hope you find hope and joy. And know that we continue to surround and protect the country, politicians, the White House, and government buildings. And know that every single moment of energy that you push out that is positive is having a incredible effect. If you would like, think about your one positive thought as a rock hitting the water. And it just goes into one little space, right? But what happens is that energy just ripples out and ripples out and ripples out. That's the power of positive energy. So your one little thought or your one little meditation consistently creates a ripple effect. So make sure every single one of them is joyful, hopeful, and positive. This is all. Okay. Yeah, that was almost completely, very often when I do channeling, I sort of am um, figuring out what the messages are and then sort of talking about them. And this was a little bit more, these are our words here, though. And that's okay too. All right. In fact, sometimes it's way better than okay. Okay. Everybody take it easy this week, okay? It's going to be a really hard week to just maintain that center, but I'm really, really encouraging you to do so because, frankly, it's only 7 days, but man alive, they can be really, really long and difficult days if you are not keeping yourself in a place where you're not letting worry and anxiety impact your energies. Please put any questions you have in the comment section below. To my new subscribers, thank you very, very much. Please check, established subscribers, please check that you are actually still subscribed. And don't forget to tick that notification bell because, every once in a while I just show up at the most random times because I have something to say or they do. So questions in the comment section below. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. Until next time, take care and be well. Bye for now.